Back to Ball Understanders podcast number 3. I'm here with Dylan once again. Hope you guys have been enjoying the pods. If you've watched the first two and have you seen some of our shorts and you subscribe from that, welcome to pod number 3. This one's going to be a little bit of a shorter pod, just a little quick 30-minute one. But we're going to be talking about a couple of topics today. And I think the first thing we really wanted to talk about was the NBA draft because, we're kind of in the heat of tanking season here. Teams really tanking to get high lottery odds, get those picks, as we talked about tanking in the last episode as well. But we're kind of getting down to the end of the season. Lottery odds are going to be finalized, in the next 20 games. And, this draft class looks insanely stacked, honestly. It seems like you can go a bunch of different ways. If you want to draft for fit or draft for best available, it really seems like you can't go wrong here with this stacked class. And, teams are really fighting to get into that top 5 because that's really where most of the meat is in this class. But it does stretch out. It is going to be a pretty deep class. But there's a lot of debate going around what players are going to be the highest recruited, what players are going to be the highest picked. Would you have this player over this player? And so that's what really we're going to talk about at the start. So if you're a Nets fan, if you're a Kings fan, if you're a Pelicans fan, Jazz fan, Pacers fan, this segment is for you. But go ahead, Dylan. What are you thinking about this class?
First, I'm curious what your top 3 is, specifically because I know that a few weeks ago you were talking about Boozer. Now you like Boozer a lot.
I do like Boozer, yeah. Yeah, so if I had to do my top 3, I would say my number 3 would be Cam Boozer. I think, averaging a double-double, he can shoot the 3. He's a big guy. It looks like he has a lot of room for improvement too, and it looks like it's not, the difficult things to develop. Like, he has all the physical attributes. He has the feel for the game, but maybe just a little bit better like lateral quickness or, maybe a little bit better on-ball creation, stuff like that. It's pretty simple. It's not like he's a bad shooter or anything or, he can't, he's not athletic. So those are the things that I really like about him. So I would have him at number 3. Number 2, I'm going to have A.J. DeBonsta. I don't really think I need to say much about him. He's pretty much a do-it-all forward wing. I've been watching him since high school. He's super athletic. He can score at 3 levels. He can, play defense when needed. I do think maybe his defense could get a little bit better, but it's pretty good for the most part. And then number 1, I would have Darren Peterson, just the player with the highest ceiling in the draft. It seems like to me he definitely could be. I know this is way too early, not even on a team yet, but a multi-time All-Star, All-NBA type of player, lead the offense type of player. Just watching his highlights, he's just a freak. So that's going to be my top 3.
Okay, I think that's the general consensus, and I think that's correct. My favorite part about this draft is this top 3. I think it's really cool the way that it's shaped out because Boozer is could be like one of the best all-time like draft for fit picks. Like
I agree.
If he goes into a system that has like a wide open spot at the 3 or the 4, he could go in and he could be like consistent from the jump. And he doesn't have to like his game translates like that. Like he's fit for position. I do also think that's why he's 3 is because like you said, a lot of his stuff is based off of the system that he plays in. And he went to Duke for a reason. I mean, Duke has a great system for players like him. And I think he's going to really benefit if he goes to a more developed team. Like I think if I'm the Pacers, I'm happy for anything top 3 because I think he would do really, really well next to Tyrese Haliburton. I
agree. Yeah.
I think you could say the same for DeBonsta. So if you're a Pacers fan, anything top 3 and you're over the moon, ecstatic about it. DeBonsta is just your typical like freak athlete. He's a good defender. He's got decent creation. Just not near the level of what Darren Peterson is, and that's why I think Darren Peterson can be 1. That dude can create space in an elevator. It's unreal.
Yeah,
I've been watching him so much this year just because I've been on a lot of college football games or college basketball games. And it was a conversation on the 1 and 2, I think, right up until they played each other. And when they played each other and Darren Peterson was playing like that in the first half, like that was definitely a statement like I'm the number 1 pick type of performance, and it was incredible to watch. And I'm really excited to see where they land because I think they're going to be really good, all 3 of them.
Yeah, what is your take on the whole Darren Peterson teammate controversy?
Really, really – wait, which one? Which
There's a couple. You can really go either way, but obviously the hitting the three, checking himself out. There's stuff like that, and then there's also like the photos of him not in like the huddles and stuff like that.
That one I think is more of a worry than the not playing one. And one that I've heard a lot and one that I don't understand is that he's not playing enough for an NBA team to trust him, or like for us to trust him as a prospect. I think that's total bullshit, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Shaedon Sharp played, 0 games?
He played 0 games.
He played 0 games. And he was the 9th pick, right?
He was the 7th pick, yeah.
7th pick, okay.
Yeah.
Darren Peterson knows that he's number 1. That's why he checked into the first half against BYU, lit them up, and then didn't play again. Is because he knows he's the number 1 pick. I don't even think it's his decision not to play. I don't think that's – I think that's an agent decision and something between the agent and the coach. And it's like, this is the minutes he's playing today. Because he's come out and he's played 40 minutes, and he's looked fine.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get past that one because I just don't understand that one. The teammate one is a little concerning. I know they also interviewed him at some point, and they asked him kind of about those controversies, and he's like, yeah, I've just always kind of been a bit of a loner. And I was like, okay, that's a little weird.
Yeah, that is a little weird. I also think maybe some of the teammate problems come from the fact that he doesn't play a lot of minutes because he knows he's the number 1 pick. So I think that could stem from that. Like if you're a teammate of the guy and he's your best player, and you're a player on Kansas, you want to win games.
Right.
You want to be in the tournament, you want to be a number 1 seed, whatever you want to be. And your best player is consistently playing, 15 minutes a game, not really playing, maybe just sitting out of games completely. And then he goes and says something like that. Like you're not going to really like him.
And another thing that a lot of college basketball announcers have tried to hit on is they've been big on they have to play they have to learn how to play with and without Peterson. And I think that contributes a lot to it because I think that's somewhat unfair, and very, very few teams have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, he's not going to get those minutes all the time. So they're like 2 different teams, and I think that showed up a lot because sometimes they don't know which team needs to show up that day, the one with Peterson that plays through Peterson or the one without him, and they have to play on their own and figure out their own thing. And they have the talent to do it, but I think you're right. I think it creates a very weird dynamic.
I agree.
Where every day kind of depends on him, and I think that can get really annoying as a teammate.
100%. But I think, if you're a team that's tanking this year, obviously you're hoping for top 3 because, you're going to get one of those 3 guys. But even if you fall to 7 or 8, I mean, there's still options all the way across the board. I mean, I'm not the most NBA draft, diehard watcher, especially, as my team has slowly, stopped getting top, whatever picks. It's like you stop watching it. But I know from what I've seen, the draft is stacked. And so if you can get a top 5, top 4 pick, it's going to be amazing. And I think that any one of those 3 guys could completely flip a team around. But what team do you think, Peter, because I actually talked about this earlier today, what team do you think would benefit the most from Peterson?
That's a good question.
Because I was looking at it, and it's almost like with Peterson, he could be kind of a difficult draft for a lot of these teams because there's only a couple teams. Right. There's only a couple teams right now that are tanking with no direction. You know what I mean? And a lot of teams like the Pacers or, you could even throw a team like, the Jazz. Like they have a direction with everybody they have. Like a lot of these tanking teams have some sort of a direction, have some sort of a core. And there's only, in my opinion, 1 or 2 teams that are really just tanking for no reason, not for no reason, but tanking with no direction. And I think he needs to go to one of those teams, which is the Nets and the Kings.
I agree. I think I didn't even think about the Kings. My mind was on the Nets. That's where I was thinking. I think that could do really well for that market too. Is give something to give Brooklyn something.
I think he needs to be a Brooklyn Net. If I'm going to be honest, I think he needs to be.
Yeah, that would be good. It also keeps him out of the West because if he's in the West and he's on the Kings are still coming out of the rebuild because they really still have LaVine, DeRozan, Westbrook. Like they have all these older guys that they still haven't even moved. So I think they're in a weird spot.
They are in a weird spot.
would benefit Peterson because they're going to start trying to develop Peterson, but also try to change the team and get rid of these old guys at the same time. And doing that in the West, I think, is going to lose you a lot of games. And I think bringing them out to the East, where there's a bigger market for something in Brooklyn. I mean, like they really have nothing to root for at all right now.
No, it's a disaster.
They do have their pick, right? It's like they're taking.
Yeah, I believe they do. I believe they do.
I think so too.
I'm gonna double check that, but I believe that they do.
And they actually drafted some okay role players in the last draft.
Danny Wolf.
Whole place erupts when he scores. They just all start. Yeah.
Yeah, they have their pick.
Okay. It's Trayvon Agor, something like that. You somehow.
Igor Demon?
No, I'm thinking of Traore.
Oh, Nolan Traore.
Yes.
Yeah, I
He's
don't even know how to
pretty
say
good,
that
too.
name. Yeah.
They
got Clowney, but it's like it's not for me. It's not even enough to have a direction.
No, it's not. But I'm saying if you give that to Peterson, they've already got somewhat of a younger foundation that I think he could fit into, kind of like the Spurs did, where they drafted a bunch of young role players and then got Wemby, and then kind of fit into that growing together system. I think that could work well in Brooklyn.
I
think
agree.
with the Kings, it's just a little more rough.
So we have the Nets with Peterson, and then the Pacers with Boozer. Where would you want to see DeBonsta go?
I think the Jazz. I think that's the best spot.
Yeah, staying in Utah.
Keontae George is good. They've already got a market for him. It's kind of in the script, to be honest, a little bit. I don't know.
But at the same time, they're kind of forward heavy a little bit with Bailey, Jackson Jr., Markkanen. You know, they kind of have a lot of forwards now. So I don't know how.
True. My thing is, I feel like Keontae George is a good athlete. Jaren Jackson Jr. is too, but they don't have like that straight, like kind of like the VJ Edgecombe straight athlete. Like
you're right. Yeah, I mean, Ace Bailey
forward
is kind of that, but not really.
Yeah, he's a little bit more of a spot up. Like he doesn't get physical on the defensive end like DeBonsta would.
DeBonsta and Bailey though would look amazing next to each other. I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
So would that starting lineup be like?
It'd probably be. I don't even know
George.
if DeBonsta would necessarily start, just because
you'd have to.
The team is pretty deep. I mean, you have Collier, you got George, you got Markkanen, you got Kessler, you got a lot of options. But let's look at this. I think you start George, you start Markkanen, you start Jaren.
Yeah,
that's
I think
three
you put Jaren
already.
At the center, Markkanen at the 4.
Yeah, I think you could start. And then DeBonsta and Bailey. Yeah.
That is a tall ass lineup.
That is a tall lineup.
And not a great defensive one. DeBonsta's a good defender, and so is Jaren Jackson Jr.
And Markkanen is too.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
It's not bad. And Kessler's great too. Honestly, it's not that bad.
Good.
It's just Keontae.
Yeah, that's like a bad defender.
Well, yeah, I guess you would actually. Well, no, I guess Bailey wouldn't start because you would have Keontae, Markkanen, Jaren, Kessler. So that's 4. So
that's what I was thinking. Do you push Kessler to the bench?
No, you can't put.
I feel like you can't either.
No, you got to start DeBonsta over Bailey, which I don't necessarily know if they would do that. I think it would just depend on camp.
Yeah, and that could also cause some issues because we already know that he really didn't want to go to Utah after not doing all the workouts and stuff like that. And so if he didn't want to go and now he's getting pushed to the bench, is this another Kuminga situation?
Good segue into Johnathan Kuminga. That was great. But Kuminga just absolutely torched my team the other day. It was horrible to watch. But it was fun to watch because I saw him get that steal or something, and then he goes into a windmill dunk looking into the rim, and then he postered Yang Hansen switching hands midair.
Yeah, with that left one.
Yeah. And even on his misses, I've watched Kuminga ever since he came into the league. He was on the Warriors team that won the championship his rookie season. So I've been a big Kuminga watcher, kind of just like under the radar. And he has never looked more confident ever. Mm-hmm. Even on his misses, when he takes mid-ranges, when I used to watch him in Golden State, he would take a mid-range and it almost looked like he was scared. He was second-guessing his shot, or he was scared to shoot it, or like he would, jump and pass out of it. It's just, something that a normal basketball player wouldn't do. And then now I'm watching him. He's doing like tween, pound it, sidestep, fade middies, and he's full committing. He's jumping to his, natural ability on this shot, which is insane. He's an athletic freak, and he's, missing the shot, And his teammates aren't mad at him. The coach is saying, keep going. People are high-fiving him, and then he gets back on, the other end, and then he gets those extra passes from his teammates that he wasn't getting in Golden State.
Yeah. So do you think, because this is a big take that I've seen around, do you think that's an indictment of Steve Kerr?
Well, I mean, I think it kind of has to be.
Yeah.
Because he was the one that wasn't playing Kuminga. He was the one that was purposefully giving him healthy DNPs, which is the biggest disrespect you can give to a player, is a healthy DNP. Yeah. And so he was getting healthy DNPs. He was only playing Garby minutes. He wasn't looked at as a real player. And, now he goes to this team and he's amazing. It's almost like, what was the problem? I feel like we don't.
Right. Yeah. That's my question too, is what was Steve Kerr so upset about that caused these DNPs? Like, what was the clash? Do we even know?
I don't know. I've kept tabs on it, and I think it's just maybe Kuminga didn't play complimentary enough to Curry. Yeah. I think it's all about, the team's all about building around Curry.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I guess Kuminga isn't really the best player to put next to Curry. He's not a great screener. He's not a great three-point shooter. He's not, the best defender. And so, but, where he excels is, getting downhill, on-ball creation, in the paint, dunker spot, stuff like that where, playing next to Curry, sitting in the dunker spot you're not really doing much. Curry, like Draymond Green is, up at the 3-point line 90% of the time, setting back screens, setting screens, running DHOs. Is Kuminga really a guy that's going to run a DHO?
No.
No. So it's like that's the thing about Kuminga that I think was putting him on the bench. But at the same time, when you have a guy like that on the bench, like you're just hurting your team.
Yeah, you got to find someone to play him. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I think Kuminga. The Hawks got an absolute steal. I feel like they're going to look pretty good with Dyson, Jalen Johnson, now Kuminga. People were talking about maybe Anthony Edwards making a return to ATL there in the next couple of years. I think that could be really fun.
Really? Has that been a thing?
Yeah, there's this thing in the All-Star game where Jalen Johnson and Anthony Edwards were kind of talking like this, but there was like a mic right there.
Trae Young and DeJounte Murray a few years ago.
Yeah, so like there was like a mic and a camera, and Anthony Edwards was like, I can't wait to go home because he grew up in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Johnson like kind of looked like, wait, like really? And he was like, yeah, like, let's do it. And then he was like, y'all got so many wings, and you got Kuminga now too. Like he's tough. And then Jalen Johnson was like, let's make it happen. Pretty much. I don't even think he knew what to say because he was kind of shocked.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, that happened during the All-Star break. But like Anthony Edwards is the embodiment of Atlanta, so like it makes sense.
Yeah, he would be an icon there. He's already an icon in Minnesota. Atlanta would be crazy.
It makes sense for him to want to do that, and especially if his contract runs up and he just signs a contract there. Doesn't I guess he could request a trade.
Another star in the East.
Yeah, which would be great.
One less thing in the West.
I know. And speaking of the West, we have our Denver Nuggets right now. A lot of people's preseason title favorites, only up one with 16 seconds left against the Jazz. And, it doesn't, for me, the result of this game doesn't even matter anymore. They could win the game. They could lose the game. It's not a good look. The Jazz have no Nurkic, Markkanen, Jaren Jackson, Walker Kessler, Vince Williams Jr., Kyle Filipowski has 19, 8, and 6 on them right now.
Damn, Keontae, 36 on 7%.
Keontae's got 36. Elijah Harkless has played 27 minutes in this game. Konchar's played 23 minutes. Oscar Schwebe's played 18 minutes in this game. I don't understand. What do you think's the problem in Denver?
I don't know.
Yeah,
injuries maybe. Injuries, but who are they playing the other night where they went to OT? Who was that?
The Thunder, no?
Was it the Thunder that was the OT? It was either that or the Pistons.
It was the Thunder. Yeah, they went to OT against the Thunder. They lost. OKC had no J-Dub, Ajay Mitchell.
That OT was horrible for the Nuggets. They couldn't make anything, Jokic included. The Thunder, Shea didn't even play in OT, and they won an OT.
Yeah, I think
you're not a contender if that's happening. That's such a big game.
100%. I think that the issue with them is Aaron Gordon being out.
I think that's huge.
He's their best defender.
Yeah.
And he's the perfect complementary piece next to Jokic where he can be in the dunker spot and he can shoot threes. So it's like without him, that's just a big loss. And you wouldn't expect them to, really fall off that much after losing Aaron Gordon, considering when they lost Jokic, they were a good team.
Yeah, they were
and
fine.
It's almost like Aaron Gordon was more valuable than Jokic. Like I'm just saying, it's not true. I know that's not true.
Team build.
Yeah, I know that's not true, but it's almost like, when they had Aaron Gordon during that stretch with no Jokic, they were, still somehow winning games. And now, they have Jokic and they are winning games, way more than they would if they had no Jokic right now, no Aaron Gordon. But with no Aaron Gordon, no Peyton Watson, obviously that's a big loss too. And then you have Cameron Johnson in and out of the lineup. And the way Jamal Murray's playing,
way underwhelming this year too.
He had a good stretch. He started off really cold, and then he had a good stretch, and now he's hurt again. So, he is shooting 40% from three, but when you watch him, it looks like he's shooting 20% from three. So I don't really know how that works, but I honestly think
he's been okay on some nights. I just think his bad nights are really bad.
I agree, and with the Nuggets, kind of looking rough. What are you thinking about the West, like for playoffs? Like, are you still putting them up there with the Thunder and the Spurs and the Timberwolves?
I don't know. It's
a tough call.
It is a tough call. I want to still say yes, but I don't know if it's just because I'm holding on to preseason stuff because I had them pretty high preseason.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah, it's getting to a point where they're falling out of it.
Yeah, I think honestly, if they came into a playoff series right now, they would get smoked by a lot of teams. Like if the playoffs were today, like if the playoffs started tomorrow, I think it would look rough. Also,
that 2-game skid also sent them to the 5 seed.
Yeah, I was about to bring up seeding. The Rockets up to the 3 seed now.
Yeah, still not moved by them, to be honest.
What makes you not moved? Is it the chemistry?
It's their offense. I just don't think. I think their offense is too clunky, and it's, we can't do anything. Here, KD, have the ball, and I just think that's not going to work in 7 games in a series.
Yeah, that's kind of how their offense has been all season with no point guard, and we've talked about this enough, but I think that the Rockets are making kind of a late season push, and I think that getting the 3 seed would actually be an amazing thing for them because playing the Lakers or the Suns would be a lot easier than playing the Timberwolves or playing the Nuggets absolutely. Or playing.
They could still make noise in the playoff for sure. I don't just have them as like finals contenders.
I agree. I don't really have them as finals contenders either. I think, their ceiling is maybe a second or third round. I think a third round would need they would need to get kind of lucky.
Yeah.
But I do think it's possible. And I think that there's just teams that are more team ball built that would outlast them. Cause you can only rely on a 37-year-old for, so many games before he gets tired, especially with playoff physicality. In a playoff setting, and especially if they have to play a team like the Timberwolves or the Spurs in the second round, it's almost like how many games until KD gets hurt. You don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're he's gonna have to play essentially. He probably won't, but somewhere close to 40 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then now talking about the West going to the East. Have you seen the stuff about Tatum's return?
Yeah, I still don't think anybody has a true temperature check on it. I don't.
They said that he was expected to make his debut against, I think it was the Cavaliers on Sunday.
Oh, really?
Oh, that was it was a rumor. It was a rumor. Because he's fully cleared for 5-on-5 contact.
Right. There were some rumors that they moved one of their games to nationally televised, and so they were like, he's going to play then. I don't remember when that was. I think that
already happened.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think he wasn't lying in that one when they asked him. They're like, "Hey, are you coming back?" And he's like, "When I know, you'll know." Like, I don't think he was really lying. I think he genuinely doesn't know what he wants to do right now. Mm-hmm. And I actually think that part of what we've been talking about is a part of that conversation of well, if he comes back, what do we do? And I think that's something that he's questioning. It's like, we've had this success this year, so if we come back, are we molding it instantly to JT and try to make it like last year, or are we molding him into the system that's already in place?
Right.
And I think that's probably a big part of what he decides to do, because I don't know if he does come off the bench as a role player, which I think would work, and I think that could give them a big boost and they could make some noise in the Eastern
If he
playoffs.
comes as a role player?
If he tries to play as a role player.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would want to do that, and I kind of think just based off what we've seen in the Olympics, I think I have zero basis for saying this. This is just my theory right now. I think there's kind of an ultimatum right now of, let me come back and be the star, and I'll join y'all for the playoffs, or I'm not going to play in the playoffs if I'm going to be a role player.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why he really wasn't played in the USA Olympics was because he can't be a role player.
Right.
So it's almost like
he's not like Devin Booker, who
no,
went in
oh
and
my
played that
goodness,
perfectly.
America still thanks Devin Booker for
Yeah.
that. But it's like with JT, it's just hard for him to be a role player. I feel like if he really wanted to, he could. Like, he's a good 3-point shooter. He's a good defender.
I think he could too.
He's a good rebounder. But I just don't know if that's how that's just not how he plays basketball. And so that's why he was benched in the USA Olympics, in my opinion, is because they couldn't find a way to get him on the court without him taking touches away from KD, Steph, Bron, all that. So I think if he does come back, I definitely think that they're going to try to ease him in.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit.
Well, so I don't even know if they're going to try to ease themselves in, because then you're changing your team as the playoffs are going.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly why I said, yeah, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do if they bring him back. They're 41-20 without him. It's almost like.
And for any listeners, I had no basis of saying that. That was just my total theory based off of how he acted in the Olympics.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, he's one of the best players in the world, and after not playing basketball since May of 2025, coming back in March of 2026.
Yeah. And I also think that this team is just built way different than last year, and you can't plug and play. Like, I think last year, if you had a similar situation, or 2 years ago, whenever it was, when they had that team, you could kind of plug and play Tatum like that.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's built the same this year.
No, I don't think so either. And, there are threats in the East with or without him. But I personally think you don't bring him back. That's just my personal opinion.
I'm on board with try to keep him as a role player. I just don't think he will.
So if you were the Celtics GM and you have to make or not GM, I guess coach, GM, I guess it's a team in Tatum.
I would sit him.
You would sit him?
Yeah. If he's going to try to only come in as the star and he's not going to be a role player, I would sit him.
I was just talking with a Boston fan the other day, and he was like, I think, you would know this too, being up there. I feel like the general consensus is it's over when we get Tatum back.
I don't think anybody wants him to come back as on-ball Tatum. Everybody I've talked to has said, I hope they bring him off the bench.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And try to play the role player.
Okay.
Which I think I don't think you necessarily have to do that. I think he can still start, but he's got to be a role player. I just think he has to fit in the system.
Yeah, it's a great point. I guess we'll see, the next couple of days, but that'll wrap it up for this episode. Trying to do a little 30-minute episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we're going to keep the pods up, keep the shorts up, and leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next pod.
Peace.